What's up, crew? What's up, squad? Welcome to another Ghost and Clover podcast. It is May 21st, 2023. And for those that are new, we never really know what the topics are going to be. But rest assured, Ghost brings one, I will bring one. And for all those that are joining us live out there in the chat a little later on, the very last topic of the evening will be supplied by somebody out there in the chat. So, in order to be eligible for us to choose you to pick that topic, make sure that you drop a comment out there, say hi, all that good stuff. And of course, we're powered by our good friends over at EAA, European American Armory, and we will talk in depth about them. Of course, later on, like we always do, lots of good stuff coming out of EAA, man, honestly, in the last couple of years. So we want to say that proud members, I guess you could say, of Firearms Radio Network, Self-Defense Radio Network, and also Rapid Fire Radio Network, the newest network on the block, powered by, of course, our friends Toby and Roy and all those over at Cape Gunworks. So be sure to go check out Cape Gunworks. I hear they are pretty competitive as far as their pricing and all that other stuff goes. So go check them out. And yeah, tell them thank you for the kicking off the Rapid Fire Radio Network. And then, of course, big shout out and thanks again to the squad, to the crew, all those that support through channel memberships and all that good stuff. If you are in replay, welcome as well. And yeah, we've got the live audience, but you can participate as well, no matter where you might be watching or listening to this. There is likely a comment section below, so hit us up in that, and yeah, we'll try to get back with you. Ghost, get in here, bro.
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's been an exciting few days. Has it?
That's good.
Well, I guess. I mean, you wouldn't say so? Like some of the stuff? I don't know. I don't want to talk about
too
much of the behind the scenes stuff.
Like
but
your personal life, I was like, wow, okay, good. No, it's been kind of interesting the last week, I'd say, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I see Snob's out there, and Snob was a big help and a big push in making that happen in a way. So thanks to, of course, Snob out there. So
yeah, faux shizzle.
Yeah, I don't know what else we got. I guess we can jump into to your topic if you want to do that. I do have, by the way, the StreamYard giveaway tool is up. It is counting comments. So again, if you want to pick that comment at the end of the show or pick the topic at the end of the show, then yeah, definitely say hi out there in the chat. So yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, I had like a whole list of stuff, and I've got a page full of topics that every time I think of something, I kind of write it down because I'll forget because I'm not very smart.
Right. Yeah.
So I write this down, and then I literally took a pen, and while you were doing the intro, I literally took a pen and like stopped it on my piece of paper, and that is the topic. So we're gonna go with this. Best movies of all time.
That's going to be difficult to nail down in 15 minutes.
It is, but we're going to kind of go with just if you had. So I'm gonna first of all, out there in the audience, I want to hear what your maybe favorite 2 or 3 movies are. So I'm going to tell Clover is what I'm looking for. No genre, no specific genre. If someone was to say you only get 3 movies for the rest of your life to watch,
yeah,
it is going to be hard. But what would they be?
Man, talk about putting somebody on the spot and stuff.
No,
right?
you want to start with one of mine? We can go like one at a time. So how about that?
Yeah, I guess so.
My first one is Godfather.
I
mean, it's leave the gun, take the cannoli. There's a quote there. Yeah, just one of those where it's a solid choice. It's by many counts the greatest movie of all time. I don't know if it's the greatest movie of all time. I can tell you that I never get tired of watching it. So I'll go with that.
Yeah, and I think if we're talking about, not Academy Award winner, greatest of all time, but greatest of all, like you don't mind it on repeat, or you don't
Yeah.
mind
Like you
sitting.
never get tired of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe the enjoyment factor is there as well. Real quick, Amanda Corey out there uh, throwing down a super chat, a $6 super chat. That's interesting.
Yeah. Keep fighting. I'll call Fix right away. All right. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you very much.
So, yeah, there's probably some people that's going to disagree with this, but when I think about movies I don't mind watching, and I don't mind watching all the way through, and that I legit enjoy,
Yep.
um, The Incredibles, the first Incredibles.
That's the one with the minions, right?
No, not The Incredibles. No, 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 no,
Okay.
no.
I
Incredibles is the
I've seen
superhero.
Incredibles, but I
Is
guess I
a
haven't seen
superhero. Elastigirl and um,
it. Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
Mr.
Definitely haven't seen that.
Incredible, and Edna is the yeah, go watch it. I mean, for real. It and even the second one. And what's interesting about the second one is the second one picks up literally like right at the end of the first one, pretty much.
Yeah.
Uh, which is kind of cool. Um, but yeah, the just the humor in that. Um, obviously it's Pixar, it's animated, but
Sure.
um, the humor in that, the one-liners, the story. I don't know. It's just there's something about it.
Absolutely. My number two, Forrest Gump. Can't get. I mean, it's just one of those things where if it's on, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
And we've seen it a million times, but it never does. This is one of those movies that just it never
Oh,
disappoints.
and amazing for one-liners.
Oh my god.
Uh, right. Pop culture references. Just
Mm,
you know. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know that you know, to you, what is the story? What is the story or the point or whatever of Forrest Gump? Is it really about Forrest Gump, or is it more about how times change and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think that what it was utilizing Forrest Gump, right,
Hmm.
as a guide through a basically a 30 year story, 40-year story,
Right.
um, of the director or whoever wrote it, whoever came up with the actual screenplay and all of that. It was
Hmm.
probably just sitting back reminiscing of, man, there's been a lot of stuff happen in my lifetime. I want to talk about everything that we've seen.
Hmm.
I don't think that there really was a a true story. Like, I think it was just a historical capsule of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. So right away, this show, we're different in so many ways, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, you are you pick two pretty intense movies,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that is not, if I'm going to watch something regularly and all of that, that is not you're in a genre or whatever, or genres, right?
Yeah.
That is not for me just to like, oh, okay, and
Oh,
sit
if you
down and
like
put it
those
on
two,
and
wait
enjoy
for
it.
my third.
Yeah, no, no, no. There's nothing wrong with it. Phenomenal
Yep.
movies, and I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with either one of those. They're definitely in the top tier list in their genre for me.
Sure.
But as far as just like I said, all time has got to be something. I've got to laugh probably, and that's just me.
Yeah.
Kind of to be able to enjoy it. Um,
Yeah.
and with that, you know, I got to go Mel Brooks on my second, and Mel Brooks and Dave Chappelle,
Which
man, you
cool
can't go
because there's
wrong.
so many. Okay.
Mel Brooks and Dave Chappelle. So Robin Hood Men in Tights, like
Okay.
I
That's
can I
that's
can watch it over and over and over again. Um,
absolutely.
I don't know that that's my favorite, like Mel Brooks if you was to narrow it down to that, but it's definitely the one that I can sit down and Spaceballs is pretty close, but
Spaceballs
um,
is damn good.
yeah, but there is just something about Blazing Saddles is epic.
Sure.
But there's just something about it's Chappelle in Men in Tights. There's just something about the cast and how they all play off each other, and the acting is not good or anything like that, but
Right.
it's just it's and yeah, it's just I don't know, it's just fun.
Yep. No, no, no. I love it. Um, so after we get done with our three, then I got a follow up, and I'll go comedy with my follow up. But I guess I never even thought about it. But the three movies that I chose are very intense and in different ways. If you thought those first two were intense, then you're gonna love my third one. My third one would be, once again, I'm not saying these are the best movies of all time. I'm not even saying they're my favorite movies of all time, but they're
Mhm,
movies that never get tiring to me. And for some reason, they're therapeutic for me.
mhm.
And Clover knows what that means in certain ways when I say this. Lone Survivor. I absolutely
Good one.
am infatuated with that movie. And I know that it's a strange thing to love that kind of a movie with everything that's involved in that movie. But for me, it's
Mhm.
therapeutic.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, that's another good one, but again, intense, right?
Exactly. And
Um,
how I roll, I guess. I never thought about that until you said that, but it's very true, you know?
I had rather, and I'm the same way when it comes to American Sniper.
Yeah. I
Um,
love American
I
Sniper.
don't mind the movies. If they're on, I'm not gonna, you know, get up and like, oh, this is boring or whatever, and go do something
Right.
else. I'll watch them for sure. Um, but the books, right? And you hear that a lot.
Yep.
It's like, oh, the books are
Absolutely.
better. The books are
Yep.
so much more phenomenal. There's
Mhm.
a lot gets lost. A lot gets lost in screenplay when
Yep.
they take something like that, and it's like, oh, well, we can't show certain things or whatever. But in the book, they can talk about it in the book, and so
Mhm.
a lot of stories, and that's where and I don't know if you read either of the books on those, but
Yeah. Yeah, I
um,
did. Both of
if
them.
you're out there and you haven't read the books, I highly recommend, or get the audio book for that matter, and
Yeah.
just listen to it. But especially if you like those movies, because the the stories, there's way more stories that are told in the
Yep.
books.
And
Um,
especially like in Lone
yeah,
Survivor, the timeline is the true timeline of the book where the movie
mhm,
speeds the timeline up, if you will. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, it kind of has to, right?
Sure.
Exactly, yeah, no doubt. Um, Man, I got to pick a third. This is tough, man. Killing me here.
I only ask the tough questions. No
I
softballs
know.
here.
So I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go.
Tombstone, that's a good one there. Gunpowder Beauty. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, but again, it is. But for me, it's a little too serious.
Yeah.
Um, I go accepted. I think.
How do you
Um,
think that is?
yeah. So accepted. And I'll try not to give spoilers. And if you, um, and I can't even think. It's all young actors, right? Because it's a
Okay.
college setting. And so I can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head. What is it? 21 Jump Street in Moneyball.
Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Jonah Hill is in it. Not like a main character, but like a best friend. Lewis Black is in there, the older character, obviously. But
How old is this
um,
movie?
mm, somebody
Like,
out there can
like the
maybe
last
help
few
me
years,
out.
probably. Like in the last.
No, man, it's 10 years probably.
Okay.
At least I would say probably 10 years.
Sure.
But the premise is that there's this kid that doesn't get into college. Um, and he doesn't want to disappoint his parents,
Mm.
so he fakes a college acceptance letter, And in faking
Mhm.
this letter, he legit like builds a website, all this stuff, right? And I'm giving
I
a little
I
bit of spoiler.
remember this. I
Yeah.
do vaguely,
And
vaguely
people,
remember
other
this.
people, because the website's way too
Yes.
functional, other people start, and basically that they try to start their own college, more or less, is what it amounts
Yeah.
to. Um, yeah, just the subtle. It's got that slapstick humor. It's got subtle humor. It's got with Lewis Black, of course, is freaking hilarious with the rants
Yeah.
he pulls off. If you've never, and once this is over, whatever, if you need something to do, I don't know that you can find it on YouTube, but you probably can clips.
Probably.
But find Lewis Black, um, because some of the things to where people send him emails about things that tick them off or whatever, and he reads their emails as a rant, and it's hilarious. Lewis Black is, if you like people that rant, if you like Roll Call, if you watch Roll Call 219 every Wednesday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then you will love Lewis Black if you've never watched any Lewis Black. It's hilarious. But
That's
um, yeah, just the cast and just the different things that go on and everything else in there. Um, pretty cool. So yeah, my three totally different than your three, but
yeah. I'm gonna
yeah.
go real quick, not rapid fire, but real quick follow up. Give me one or two real quick guilty pleasure movies.
Um, Man, real quick. Okay, it hadn't happened. Like I can't think
Okay.
of a guilty pleasure movie.
Guilty pleasure movies for me, I'll give you time to think about it. And they're not guilty pleasures, but they're movies that I guess I get really excited because I don't watch them a whole lot. Dumb
Uh-huh.
and Dumber and Animal House. Either one of
How are
those two.
those? But how are I don't see those as guilty pleasures.
Well, they weren't the greatest movies. Let's just put it that way. Now, I personally love them, but they were
Yeah,
not good movies.
yeah, yeah. Um, Man, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, man.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to think. Is there? Oh, I got it. Yeah, I can give you some. I can give you two right off the top of my head. Now,
All right.
Now these could go into a separate genre, I guess,
Sure.
but and I don't mind admitting them, but I'm gonna catch a lot of flack.
Pretty
Musicals.
in Pink and 16 Candles. Oh, I'm sorry.
Music.
What?
Oh, 16 Candles is phenomenal, bro. What you talking about? Now,
Yeah.
Pretty in Pink, I didn't care too much for.
Which
Um,
one was with John Cryer? I like that one. I don't remember
yeah,
the. I don't remember which one it was, but
that
they're
was
all.
Pretty in Pink. That was Pretty in
Okay.
Pink. Yeah. 16 Candles was Long Duck Dong.
Oh, okay. No, no,
Who's
no.
so
That's the one
sexy?
that I liked. That's
Yeah.
the one that I liked. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was so and old grandma and grandpa, had him in the house,
That's-
and oh
yeah.
man, hilarious. Anthony Michael Hall in that one.
Um,
Um,
Weird
weird,
Science, another
weird
good one.
science. Yeah. Who was Big Brother was Bill Paxton, right?
Bill Paxton. Yep.
So, maybe one of his first movies. I don't know, but then yeah, then you got the Brat Pack, of course, with
Of course. I
um,
mean, Breakfast Club
Breakfast
is
Club.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's Ferris Bueller's. Man, we can do a whole
Oh,
movies.
Ferris Bueller was at the top of Ferris Bueller. If you just said name four, Ferris
Yeah,
Bueller would have been my fourth.
yeah,
Like, oh, and one
yeah.
liners and stuff from it's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that's
Right.
quintessential Matthew Broderick. He
I
never. I don't think he ever got past that.
no, he'll always be Ferris to me, no matter
Yeah,
what. And he's like Hall of Fame level, like Broadway guy.
yeah,
He won
yeah.
Tony's like out. Yeah, he's always be Ferris Bueller.
But anyway, you asked my guilty pleasures, so
Yep.
I would go musical. And I'm going to give you two.
And so-
Sound of Music.
Oh yeah, love it.
Now the first part sucks. The part in the convent, like fast
Yeah,
forward, skip it. I'm
yeah.
telling you, the
And she
slow
shows.
music. Oh my god! But once she shows up, right, to be the nanny or whatever it is, like great. Um,
Yeah,
and my all time favorite, and it's a musical, so I guess you could say it's a guilty pleasure, is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
never saw.
Um, if you have not spent the 3-4 hours, whatever it is, because it's a musical, you will be singing those songs forever. It's a great story. Homeboy goes into town. He lives out. This is back in the pioneer days, right? Travels through the mountains, goes into town, and while he's there, decides he needs a bride, and so gets with this young lady that's wanting to have an adventure basically, and they get married, and then they go back into town. He goes back into town with his six brothers basically that live with him, and they decide they need wives. So basically, they go to this, go back into town, and they end up basically kidnapping um, six ladies, right? Six gals from in town, and it's that whole story, like the spoiler alert, but on the way back, of course, they're getting chased by the posse, and all this other stuff, and there's an avalanche, and they're like, it's back in the pioneer days. They're like, we can't do anything till spring, and it all melts. So they're stranded with these boys till spring, and so it's all about them falling in love and courting and all of that. But it's there's just a lot of, I don't know, a lot of old school vibe to it, and like I said, the songs and everything else is just, it's a musical, so the acting is completely over the top, but
Sure.
but it's a great one, recommended. That being said, we got to move on and
Yeah, we do.
talk
We
about EAA, man.
Yeah, EA guys. Obviously, you guys know that we're fans of EA, and especially Gerson. For me, they have other brands that they import, but their flagship is Gerson. And Gerson's had a hell of a last year, coming out strong last year with the MCP 35, which now you can legally say the Gerson High Power HIGH power. They have taken care of that legally, and it is now the Gerson High Power, or the MCP 35. They came out and introduced the 2311, the Witness 2311, announced that at SHOT Show. That should be coming out any day now, or any week now. And then obviously at NRAM, they introduced the MC14T, which is the tip-up barrel. Probably, honestly, going to be named the handgun of the year. It should be, and if it shouldn't, then there's a hanging Chad somewhere in Florida. But no,
Right, literally,
people,
yeah.
literally.
Well, there could be a hanging Omar, right? Let's be honest.
Well, Omar didn't do them any favors.
Right.
So yeah,
So,
but no, great company, and they're just good people. I mean, Keith and obviously Paul and Chase and even Omar. Even Omar will give
Omar's okay.
Stack and everyone over there just are really good people.
And talking about, when you talk about that Witness 2311, I've heard, of course, I've done some, SHOT Show videos in around whatever. You get some comments, you hear some people, and they are Tanfoglio fans, right?
Yeah.
And sure. They're a little butthurt over EA continuing to use the Witness with Gerson, but you know what? Witness was never Tanfoglio's to use.
Yeah.
It was always EAA's. So just a little backstory on why that happens.
Chris said he picked up his first Gerson yesterday. Awesome,
Nice.
Man. Which one did you pick up? Let us know.
Right. Yeah, we definitely want to. Want to know that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what now?
I said it's your turn. You got a topic? Are you here to stump the goob? What's going on?
Is it my turn yet? We're not that far in, are we?
We are. I've done my topic, and now it's your topic.
Gizzard out there real quick. He says, I think Ben Stein is still alive. As far as I'm aware, yes.
Well, I thought so, but I'll Google it while you talk. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And for those that don't know, he's like a brilliant economist. Like Ben Stein is amazing.
I mean, he was in Nixon's. I don't know if he was. I don't think he was a cabinet, but he worked in the White House.
Yeah.
The Nixon or Ford, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I know he had.
Listen, Ben Stein, he is still alive.
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, I figured he would. Yeah. Listening to him talk, and he's very interesting if you ever hear him on a talk show or anything like that. Because, like I said, he's a brilliant guy. But it's like nails on a chalkboard to me listening to him. Because all I ever hear is Bueller.
Yeah, but here's the thing: that's him. Like that's how he talks to life. He was here at our resort probably 10, 12 years ago for a weekend. He's got some family in Arkansas, and they came up and stayed at our resort and all that. Didn't play golf or anything. But funny thing is, within a month after that, well, we'll do that later. But Ben Stein was there, and he came into my shop and was looking around and was like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Holy shit, it's not an act!" Like
No,
he really
not.
talks like that. And it was
Yeah,
one. It's one of those things where you're like so happy, like you get like, man, that's gonna be a boring guy to live with, but you're so happy that that's actually how he is. So it's
right,
wonderful.
right. Now, Chris said the MC
Yep.
P35 ops. So yeah,
The high power ops,
yeah,
nice.
high power ops. Um, all right. So I'm gonna go because you dropped a video. Was that today? Yesterday? Last night?
Last night.
With
Oh,
the
no, this morning. This morning. Well,
with the
I
Anderson.
dropped it for patrons and channel members last night. It dropped publicly this morning.
And in that video, you were using the tripod setup from Sunway Photo.
It was.
And so I thought, like you, I keep a list too. And for those that don't know, whoever goes first could always pick the topic that the second person is going to
Yeah.
choose. And we have to be able to pivot,
Pivot. Pivot.
pivot. And so, but this is just, yeah, it wasn't even on the list. It's like, I seen that and I'm like, hey, this is a good one. And
Yeah.
it's firearm related. So,
I was
um,
going to go firearms tonight, so I'm glad I didn't.
yeah. Well, that's the beauty of going second is we can always mix it up. But
Yeah.
the I don't want to talk specifically about the Sunway Photo tripod, but
Hmm.
I want to
Hmm.
have a conversation. Monopod, bipod, tripod.
Okay.
And I'm curious, especially with a live chat to chime in on this too.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a bipod on your rifle. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Just so
Okay.
we're aware, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm
Okay.
not talking about an attached monopod, bipod, or tripod. I'm talking about
Well,
secondary
monopod would almost be
equipment.
like a vertical grip, wouldn't it?
It could be, yeah, it could be.
If it was attached,
Um,
saying.
and there's some, I've used it. I mean, people have been using monopods, especially for as long as there's probably been firearms. Quite honestly, find a
Mhm.
limb that's got a fork in it, right?
Yeah.
uh, whittle that sucker down, and you're ready to go. Um, so I think the most portable is probably the monopod, and there's some good options out there. Medieval Industries, for example, and their
Mhm.
monopod setup. You've seen that,
Yeah.
and holy jeez, man, it's got this clawfoot looking thing on it, and it's a ball and socket pivot point at the top,
Pivot.
and um, that their on it that their grip attaches to. Is
Yeah.
how that works. But so amazing setup. All the way down to even your cheap $10 Allen or whatever monopod
Yeah.
at Walmart. And then you move up the ladder and you start talking like bipods. And I consider shooting sticks to be bipods. Um,
Okay.
the difference is they're crossed and they're forked. So
True.
um, that's usually what I'm talking about. If I say bipod, I mean a lot of times I mean it's two legs, so still shooting
Yeah.
sticks. And I got to say I really like and they're super portable too. The shooting sticks from Swagger. I don't know if you ever had a
Yeah.
chance to look at those or not.
I have. Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a set early version. They're probably even better now, but those will man, those will almost fold up to the point you can. If you don't, in case you don't know, they're spring loaded, and so the sections break down like by springs. You don't have to flip latches
Mhm.
and collapse anything. So
Mhm.
they fold up, and you can almost put them in your pocket. I mean, it's almost like a couple of walking sticks you see like blind people have like that fold up.
Cool.
It's
Yeah.
very similar to that, but imagine two of those put together. And then of course we get into the tripods, and a lot
Yeah.
of times when you see tripods, you're talking about like, you know, heavy machine guns, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
very, very rarely do I see tripods used in the in the shooting sports world or anything.
Oh
Uh
man, long
until
range precision stuff. They're everywhere. You got to have one.
Yeah, until until I got the Sunway photo, the same one you got.
Yeah.
And that thing is just absolutely a beast.
No, it's amazing. Yeah.
Carbon fiber legs, so
Turn that
it's
into
very light.
a monopod. Obviously, you can turn it into a bipod if you want. You can turn it into a tripod. You can utilize it however you need it to use, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a tripod guy. I've never been big into monopods or bipods. That's just me. Now I'm talking unattached bipods. Um, for me, I'm a tripod guy. And I really wasn't even a tripod guy until I started getting into the PRS game and realized that you have to have them for your binos to get yardages and all of that. A lot of people utilize them as a stabilizer because you're in awkward positions through different windows or you're in different obstacles. You can use your tripod for stabilizing the rifle and all of that. Before I got this Sunway photo, which I absolutely love, by the way, the two that I was looking at that I was getting ready to pull the trigger on, the one that I was probably going to get was the two vets. They've got one called the Recon, and obviously they're veterans, they're Marines, but it's phenomenal. The two vets, two dash vets. It's called the Recon tripod. It's great. And then Bog. I know people kind of think the Bog. They don't think that Bog's high quality stuff and all that
Bog's nice stuff. Yeah.
is very nice. And they have one called the Death Grip, and it's phenomenal. And the great thing about all of these is you can utilize them for your rifles. You can utilize them for binos. You can utilize them for anything. So if you're hunting, you might need something to just kind of figure out a way to get in a tree stand or wherever you're blind, whatever, and be able to have, your night vision or your binos or thermal or something. If you're not using a thermal scope or whatever, some people that might use a thermal scope that's not attached to the rifle. They just want to have it, attached to a tripod or whatever. A lot of different ways. For me, what I love about tripods is they give you the best of all worlds, kind of like a 2-point sling, if you will. I can't stand a single point sling. There are certain times and certain instances where single point slings are the way to go. The great thing about a 2-point sling is you can turn it into what is essentially a single point sling if you need to, right? A tripod, like I said, it does it at all. And the way that the high ends, like the one we have, and these two vets and Bog and Svorskis and all of these great tripods, it's not like you can only put their legs in one configuration. They can move, they can swing, they've got everything. So you can make it into a bipod, you can make it into a monopod if you want to. However, you need to configure most really good tripods. They're usually carbon, they're usually very durable. So I'm personally a tripod guy. That's just me.
Now, real quick, once this segment is over, the next one will be provided by you guys out there in the live chat. So if you haven't commented, make sure you get those comments in.
Yep.
We are a slightly behind on the comment submissions as opposed to the live viewers right now, but just want to throw that out there. And then real quick,
anything. Just say something in the live chat. That's all you got to
literally say something or put an emoji for that matter.
Yeah.
AK lover out there, he says, is there an ETA on the Gerson 2311? It should be any day now, quite literally. Like
yeah. Within the next week, 2 to 10 days. I mean,
it's they should be if they're not already. It's the weekend, and I haven't talked to Chase since maybe Thursday or Friday.
I talked to him since Friday. I think he was busy there. They've got life things that are kind of exciting going on. So,
But yeah, they should be, and honestly, the MC-14Ts, they're kind of on their way too. They may be on the same plane for that matter, for all we know. I mean, I think most of their stuff comes over on plane, not boat. So,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned hunting and tripods and bipods, and I think for hunting, The monopod is probably the quickest to set up, overall the lightest weight.
Sure.
It allows for various terrain because you've got one place. So if you're on a rocky hillside, whatever it might be, that said, it's probably the least stable, right?
Yep.
Um, and then it's tough because for me, I almost want to skip over the bipod completely at this point.
Yeah.
As you said, you can most of the tripods out there, you can leave one leg collapsed and use them as a bipod.
Yep.
Um, I will say that, and you mentioned something really really interesting, which is in a blind or in a stand, and yeah, I mean you don't have to hold your rifle the entire time. You can put it
Yeah.
on that, and then you can kick back and kind of listen to your surroundings, or maybe some people read a book and while they're reading, listen for noises or whatever the case may be, right? Um, and then all you really got to do is get up on there, get on target, and get on the trigger, pretty much. Um, I will say that no matter if you're out there and you're looking at different options, and especially for the hunting application, um, you want something that's got, even if it's a monopod, you want something that's got articulation, meaning, and adjustments.
Yeah.
So, the old idea of, the 1800s and a stick that has a fork in it, or a limb that has a fork in it, I mean, that'll do the job, but you got no up and down adjustment. So what if you're on a hillside, or whatever the case may be? Make sure you've got articulation and adjustment. And the more legs you have, make sure that articulation and adjustment is independent for each of those legs you have as well. So,
Yes.
just things to look for. And there are probably some budget minded options. I mean, I don't know of.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
definitely not bougie when it comes to monopods and tripods and bipods.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But I've been fortunate enough to hang around with people and whatever that are, and so I've had a lot of exposure to the higher end stuff. And when I get the cheaper stuff, I'm like, you really notice at that point. You know what I mean? If your very first car was a McLaren, right? It's all downhill from there, right? Like
Sure.
you're not gonna be happy with the Toyota Corolla. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just ain't gonna happen.
well, you could, but
I
yeah, no.
guess so. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you looked at it from a purposeful
Yeah,
standpoint, I guess you could.
chances are,
Yeah.
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 With the one thing that you will love about the Corolla versus McLaren is the MPG. Um, you're not going to get a whole lot in the McLaren. You'll get quite a bit of gas mileage in the Corolla, but that might be the only thing that the Corolla brings to
Yeah.
the table. Now, Gunpowder Beauty says thoughts on the Overwatch. The Overwatch, I don't remember if it's what I think it is. I can't remember if it was Strike Industries or was that Medieval. I don't. It's one of the two because I was looking at those at one point. And if it's
Medieval.
the one,
Overwatch is the medieval. That's the one I was talking about from medieval when we first
yeah,
started.
that's the one that can be a
It's amazing.
tripod or a monopod. It's kind of like a hybrid type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I remember,
It's
it look-
got a monopod with like a claw on the
right.
bottom. It's a bunch of
Yeah,
different configurations. Yeah.
yeah, but you can close the
Yeah.
claw on the bottom, and then it actually becomes a tripod. Also, the way
Right.
that configures. But I remember it
Right.
being really high priced. And honestly, I think that's probably a great one. I stopped looking at when I saw $1,000 price tag. That's just me. Now you're going to spend anywhere from $300 to $600 on a quality one, regardless. But $1,000, that just kind of threw me. I remember looking at it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like you spend $1,000, yeah, but you're going to get a lot of stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that you can get for about $600-700 that are going to be what I needed. So that's when she says medieval. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was medieval or strike,
Right.
but yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, Graybeard homie, hit the live at the bottom of the video.
Not
Hit
gonna
the
do it. It's not gonna do any good for us to him for tell him that because he's so far
this is
behind.
true.
But I
Yeah,
put it out there. I put it out there in the chat, so hopefully he'll see it and get caught up, get live because we're fixing to spin the wheelie wheel here in a minute, and
yeah.
somebody out there is gonna force us to Well, we're not going to talk about any topic, but most topics anyway are going to be
Those
in play.
topics, they can be very uncomfortable for us. You never know.
Well, I mean, hopefully people understand that this podcast is more about kicking back and having fun
A little bit of fun.
than it is being, dead straight and serious and all of that. And so hopefully they give us topics. And so far it's been that way.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the topics that have been suggested. But first, we got to say that the random topic segment is brought to you by our buddies over at Taurus. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about Taurus a little bit. I know I was out. Um, I've got, and I can't ever remember whether my older Taurus 357 is a 686 or a 689. But I do know that the 689 is simply a 686 with a vent rib barrel. I do know that. Um, but I can't remember, or maybe it's the opposite way around. Maybe I know mine has a vent rib barrel, but I can't remember which is which. I think that's more what it is. So yeah, I don't remember if it's a 686 or 689, whichever one has the vent rib barrel, right?
You realize,
Um,
I mean, you can say anything and I wouldn't know the difference. So, yeah.
yeah. Well, you know what a rib on a barrel is, surely,
I
right?
do. I'm talking about model numbers and all that. I don't know what
Yeah.
model number what.
Well,
So,
I don't remember either, and I think I'm right. I think it's a 689 because I think the 686 is the just a shrouded barrel, and then the 689 they added the vent rib with those. But
okay.
either way, I was out shooting that, and we're talking about a Taurus revolver from the 80s, and I got Taurus revolvers from the 80s, I got Taurus revolvers from the 90s, I got Taurus revolvers from the 2000s, um, and the older ones shoot just as well as the newer ones now. Taurus really has up their game when it comes to the big bore stuff in revolver for sure.
Yeah.
Good Lord, the 460 S&W with the alternative cartridges that you can fire through the 460 S&W sort of makes that one a no-brainer
Sure.
if you like big bore stuff, and then you're not bound to, just being able to source one type of ammunition. Um,
What was the
especially
one
to
that
get
they
out to
had
the
with
range.
410? Was that the Judge or something like that? Is that Taurus?
That's the Judge. That's the Taurus Judge. Is the
Taurus? Okay.
45 Colt
410?
410. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, and as far as their, you can speak more too because I'm trying to think other than um other than firing them at shows, maybe shooting some at the gun shop or
Mm,
things of that nature, other people's stuff. As far as auto loaders and Taurus, I don't own any. And let me back up and say I do own their copycat clones. I own the 1911s, the 92 stuff.
sure.
And, even the wife has one of the little PT 22s, which is a
Yeah.
Beretta copy. Um, I've got those. But as far as the other ones, the only real experience I've got wasn't great. My dad had the Millennium, the PT 111 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
Millennium back in the day, and that was a flaming pile of dog mess. Um, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. Now it was also a really budget-minded firearm, um,
Sure.
and I have noticed in going to shows and range days and like I said, playing with things from friends and of course at the gun shop that over the years they've really improved. That Millennium PT 111 eventually became the G2, and then with some minor tweaks and stuff like that. Um, and then they really started changing the game and cranking things up. And you can speak more to the modern stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been a huge Taurus fan for a while. Um, PT92 shot a lot, but I'm a 92 fan, so I pretty much am going to at least search out, if not to buy, at least shoot any 1992 clones or whatever. And I don't know if it's not a clone necessarily with a PT92 because it was used. Um, they used everything that was at the Beretta factory they bought. So I mean,
I've had
it's
that argument with folks. If it says Taurus
it,
on it, it's not a Beretta.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
But yeah, as far as their semis and all of that, yeah, the G3. And I've got a G3. The G3s when they started really kind of making a comeback, if you will. And the G4 series is they've solidified themselves as a viable option in the less expensive semi-auto game. Yeah, the G3 really kind of brought people back to them, and I think that everyone wanted to believe that they were making a turn, but they wanted to kind of see the next model, which was the G4 series. If they could come with two different models and two different series back to back, I think people, and then they did that. So I think that the G3 and the G4 have solidified Taurus as a player in that market for sure.
Now, one thing I would like to, and I'm sure, they will take friendly criticism a bit, but one
Sure.
thing I would like to see Taurus do, and granted, I mean, they got to have the market. I mean, I understand how businesses work. This is just an
Yeah.
opinion. Um, but I would like to see them do some large. I mean, they're doing big bore revolvers and big honking revolvers. I want to see some big range toy fire, some 4.5 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch barrel stuff from them. That's what I want to see.
Sure. I mean, I think there are two things that I would like to see from them. Um, well, they're the same, but not. I like this. I like to see an AR/PCC from them.
Oh snap! Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I like to see maybe if they're doing anything that could be into that realm, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll
Well,
see.
yeah. And so let's bring this up real quick. We were talking Taurus, but don't forget that, yeah, you've also got Rossi and Heritage under that
This
banner as
is
well.
true.
So, yeah. Let me get the screen share up because we are about to go to our viewer driven or viewer suggested
All
topic.
right. All right.
What do you think? Should we spin the wheel?
Let's do it. No whammies. No whammies.
So here we go. If your name is chosen and we call that out, we let you know. We're not going to wait forever. So give us a topic idea. And it
He
is
won last week.
G23. Was it? I thought DJ was last week.
No, I think I thought G23 was last week.
I thought it was DJ because I thought it was something about movies or something about music or something.
Yeah, okay.
But G23 is yeah, it was like
A
bands
couple
we seen
ago.
live or something. I think I thought it was last week, but they run together.
Yeah.
I know G23 was here earlier. You're
Yep.
still here, G23. You've got a minute or so. We're not going to vamp too terribly long, and we will draw another name, but we need a topic. So throw that out to us, and for I
It
don't
doesn't
know 10
necessarily have to be a firearm topic, you know.
no, it doesn't have to be. Just keep that in mind. I would honestly prefer it to be something a little light and upbeat, but we can
Yeah.
certainly do that with firearms just as much as anything.
Now I
But it
can make
does
fun of Free Smith and Wesson for 10 minutes, no problem. So if he wants to do that, then that we're okay with.
right, right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm not seeing anything from him. So
I haven't seen anything yet. So we'll
and I'm scrolling up to see how long ago.
it's been a
Uh,
minute. It's been a minute.
been about 10 minutes since we heard him in the live chat there.
About
So
what 10 more seconds or so.
right, yeah, yep.
Then we'll have to spin it again.
Yeah, let's spin it. I think
Let's
let's go
spin it.
again.
Let's spin that thing, DJ.
Maybe next time G23. So here we go, and we've got Roy now.
Roy
So
Pen.
Roy is out there. Roy, and it's been
I
a
saw
minute.
Roy earlier. It's been a minute for him. So he's got about a minute out
Yeah,
there. So
yeah. Give us the topic, Roy. If you're still out there, we'll wait for just a second, and if not, we'll draw again. While we're doing this, just to explain, didn't mention at the top of the show, but we are live on the Ghost Tactical channel, the CloverTac channel, as well as the Ghost and Clover uh, channel. So I was gonna say it would be kind of easy to jump on maybe on there and do the at symbol and see if somebody was out there, but it's not because we don't know what channel people are necessarily listening on.
that's
So
correct.
that makes it a little
Comes up
difficult.
on 1 feed on ours. So yeah.
Well, I
Uh,
showed
by the way,
when I.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No, I was saying. By the way, speaking of which, we are as soon as we go live or end this live stream, you won't be able to watch it in replay on my channel or on Clover's. You're going to have to go to the Ghost and Clover channel. So get over there, subscribe to that channel, and you can watch it over
Or
there.
listen in the audio podcast world, which shout out to all the audio podcast folks out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I don't see Roy. Let's
Either that or he doesn't want to pick a topic.
All right, here we go, and that could be. Here we go. Third time's a charm. Here, let's see if we can get somebody that's commented recently. We've got Fixed is up.
Fix is out there. Fix is out there. What does she want to do?
So Fixed is out there. Fixed. It hasn't been that long since she commented. So Fixed is up. Fixed can pick the next topic. So give it to us, and we will go with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the third time's a charm here.
Hopefully. If not, then someone throw a good topic out there, and we'll. Oh, she said talk shit about mandatory carry.
Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, he's my favorite weird coastie. So
I can't do that. I mean, we could vamp on it a little bit. He's always in the chats, so I mean,
he's always out there. He's supportive. Like I said, he's my favorite weirdo. He's my favorite coastie. He's the only coastie I know, so I guess that might be something. But no, I can't talk shit about him. Yeah. I have nothing but good things. I will say this in a joking manner. It is nice to see when he goes live that he does stay in a padded cell. Once again, a weird Coast Guard. Coastie is something. And I'm just happy to know that he's safe when he does his live chats, because he can get fired up at his live chats, but being in a padded cell helps for sure. And that's
right.
all joking aside, just joking.
I know that he and I disagree often on things.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather like it when people disagree with me, because that helps me to solidify my position and stance and opinions and everything else, because it kind of gives me a check, right? And I like that.
More than anything else, it galvanizes your position in your mind.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
If done right, might plant a seed to at least consider, not saying change your mind, but consider the other side.
Right. And, I'll say this too. I know we're supposed to be trash talking, but can't do that. And we reserve the right to do whatever we want here.
That's correct.
Another thing that mandatory carry does is, I don't know if he's got a secondary laptop or direct line to 411 or what the deal is, but it seems like whenever we're talking about something and we don't, there's certain specifics that we don't know, or we're like, hey, we're unsure, I don't remember this or remember that.
Yeah.
He quite often will chime in, and I know he's done it a couple of times on this podcast in the live chat out there. Has chimed in and kind of filled in the gaps, so to speak. And so it's really awesome when that's the whole point. And there's a lot of folks out there that do that. Gary is another one.
Yeah, he is another one.
But
this does that sometimes, which is great.
That's what it's all about, because sometimes we may not know everything, or sometimes we may be thinking of the wrong thing, or we may misspeak or get something wrong, or whatever the case may be. And it's great to have people out there that have you back, and they know what you're, at least they understand what you're talking about, even though you may not, right?
Yep.
And kind of fill in with it. It's really nice.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I love that he says that. It reminds me, I got to recover and repaint the padding. Yeah. No, solid dude. I'll say this, and this is one thing that when when I say judging people, I don't, because I'm not trying to judge people, but when I'm judging someone's character, if you will, character's a big thing for me. Someone that's passionate about what they're doing, what they believe in, what they're saying, doesn't mean that it's what I think and I have to agree with it. I would much rather have someone that's truly passionate, not just passionate because they want to try to be the loudest, making a point, but truly passionate in their beliefs. I respect that. Doesn't mean I always agree with everybody, but I respect that. He's a good person. We're trying to talk smack about him. I can't do it. But a good person. A good
Well,
person.
I want to.
You know.
First, I want to get the thing off the screen because that's just
No.
ridiculous. But, I got to defend him here on the padded room thing for a second because people don't understand what that is. Being a techie, that's acoustic paneling, man. That ain't paddling. That's acoustic paneling. So his audio sounds better, man. Come on.
Yeah. What he needs to do is paint that a different color so it doesn't look like white padding walls.
That's true. Usually, acoustic padding is black for whatever
black
reason.
or gray or something.
Yeah. For whatever reason, he chose white. That was he
definitely. It does work for his acoustics. I'll give him that.
He definitely chose poorly on the color. Even a taupe or a beige would have been better. But it is what it is. And that's probably the only time you'll hear me say taupe on a podcast, by the way.
He did confirm it is padding. He's remember crayons and it is padding, Clover. So
points for being honest. Then there you go.
Absolutely. Hey, I do miss. There were times there were talks about him doing his chat with a straight jacket on between meals at the asylum, which would be great, by the way. If you ever get a chance to do that while having a meal at the asylum, I know they have to feed you mandatory carry when you're having straight
Jello. I hear in the asylum,
plenty of Jello and pudding. And who doesn't like Jello and pudding?
As long as it's not tapioca. Ugh.
It's got to be chocolate, vanilla, or a swirl. I'm good with all three of those.
Yeah, right.
I'm good with all three of those. Yeah.
Now, Jello or snack pack.
I'm going Jello. Definitely going to go. And I'm a big lime Jello guy, by the way.
Really? Well, I was talking about for the pudding in the little cups. Do you go?
Oh, you talking the brand?
Or do you go? Yeah, or do you go Jello?
Oh, no, I go the Jello pudding.
Jello.
Yeah. Jello guy.
Yeah. I don't care for like the fruit flavored Jello stuff. Honestly, too much. Now I use it with baking and stuff a lot. My grandmother's strawberry cake recipe, for example, that's like one of the keys. And so I just gave that away, her lifelong recipe. But there you go. Figure the rest of it out. Good luck. But yeah, that's one of the keys, not only to the cake itself, but the frosting. Jello. Jello has, and this is you can tell the difference. I don't know if you can, but I can tell the difference between off-brand when you're talking about the jiggly fruit flavored Jello. I can tell the difference between Jello brand and the other. Jello is more tart to me. Is it to you?
A little more tart.
Yeah.
I guess I never really thought about it, but yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit. I never really thought about that. Yeah, tart. Yeah, I tell you. Speaking of Jello, I don't know what brand it is, and they have it at Walmart, but they've got the sugar-free Jello. And it comes in like a 24 pack, and it's got 6 different flavors and like 4 of each or whatever. Really good. It might be like a Walmart brand for all I know. It might be like Best Choice or whatever they have.
You're talking about the fruit Jello?
Yeah.
Like all Jello is sugar free.
What's that? No.
Yeah.
Not the ones not like the apple cherry.
The
like
pudding is not, but the fruit stuff.
And they have Jello. Jello has sugar-free pudding, and it's really good.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. We've got. Oh man,
I
there's some
actually like
double.
it better than the normal pudding. Does that
In
makes
fact, that may be once we get off here. Sorry, everybody, but there's some double fudge Jello pudding, sugar-free Jello pudding in there. Oh
so
yeah,
Jello? I'm going to say Jello pudding.
pudding. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
What's your one? What's your one go-to flavor?
Pudding.
Yeah,
Oh.
obviously it's not tapioca. You made that
So we're
abundantly clear.
talking about Jello out of the box, right?
Pudding out of the box.
Jello pudding out of the box.
Jello pudding out of the box.
Dude, it's got to be that double fudge I just talked about. It's
Yeah.
got to
Okay.
be. Got
Yeah.
to be. It's chocolate to the max. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not a chocolate guy. You know that. I my favorite is chocolate pudding, but I think that the double chocolate, whatever you call it, would probably be too much for me. I'm not a big chocolate guy.
Yeah.
Aside from chocolate cake and brownies, now you give me that, I'm okay.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Butterscotch. I've never had the butterscotch, James, but that does sound pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not quite there. I'm not 70 yet. I tend to stay away from anything butterscotch. Once I turn 70, on my 70th birthday, assuming I'm still around, which probably won't be, um, I'll have a butterscotch cake with some butterscotch candies on top, and yeah, we'll do it up butterscotch style for sure.
Who
Hoo just
says
jumped
you like
in.
pie over cake? I'm not a pie guy.
I'm with Hootie Hoo, man.
Excuse me.
I'm with Hootie Hoo on that. I'm a pie guy too. My grandmother's recipes, I've got those down at this point, and man, my meringues, lemon meringue, chocolate, coconut. Oh, in fact, I was threatening. I think it was last weekend. I was threatening baking some pies just to be able to eat some pies.
Yeah.
Not even give them to share with anybody, and might do that next weekend. As a matter of
There
fact,
are only three, count them, three pies that I would enjoy.
hmm
I enjoy a good chocolate pie.
yeah,
I enjoy a good key lime pie.
yeah, yeah.
And I enjoy a great pie from Revenge of the Nerds. If you guys don't understand that, then you understand that.
Good reference. That's a great reference to close it out on, because
Yeah.
we're at the top of the hour. So yeah, take it over and shut us down.
Shut her down. Like I said, thank you guys so much. The audience out there, great chat. We're sorry we disappointed you, Fix. You know, you wanted us to talk smack about Carrie, but we can't do it. But no, thank you everyone for out there who's watching live. The conversation was great. If you're watching this in replay or listening in podcast form, hope you guys got a little bit of entertainment. You know, the whole point of us doing this is we've always kind of done a Ghost and Clover podcast unofficially. But we have a void on Sunday nights. Our good friend, Midnight Range TM, always ended up, and he had a show called The Closer on Sunday nights, and it was a great, fun way to kind of end your week out before you start the grind that is Monday. And life takes over. He got a new job, and it's one of those things where the closer just stopped closing. And so we felt like we had this rhetorical door open every Sunday night, and we hope to come in and have a little bit of fun and kind of not take over the closer role, but have some fun on Sundays. There's some pretty serious conversations that people have throughout the week, which is fantastic. Every now and then it's nice to have fun and just relax and talk about stuff, because we're all gun people, or most of us that are in this live one at least. But that's not the only thing that we are in our lives. We enjoy sports, we enjoy comedy, we enjoy all sorts of stuff, and this is what this podcast is about. So if you're out there in replay or listening to podcast form, the conversation doesn't have to end. Utilize the comment section. Throw out some topic ideas. Tell us what you guys are thinking of the podcast. If there's any segments that you wish that we would do, or something that you think could add to the podcast, we're always open for suggestions and all of that. Once again, this is only our 6th episode, so we're kind of new to this. We're kind of going as we go. We've both been doing the podcast game for a long time, but we're all trying to learn everything here. So we're would you agree, Clover? We're always looking for suggestions.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was 6 when we were talking
Yeah. Yeah.
earlier. I could. It doesn't seem like it was 6, so
Yeah.
it's went pretty quick.
Yeah. I do want to say that next weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody has a safe Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, eat the hot dogs, drink, be merry, be safe. I just do ask one thing, not to bring it downer. I do this every year. Remember what the weekend is for. Not asking you not to have fun. I want you to have fun. The people that gave their life for this great country did it so that you could enjoy your life as an American. All I ask is, hey, when you're out there on the lake or whatever, you're in the cookout and you're having that beer or whatever, send a toast to all that have fallen who gave their life so that we could do this exact thing on a Sunday night over the interwebs here in America. Thank you so much for watching live. You guys are great. Thanks for listening. You got anything else you want to do? Anything before we get out of here?
I don't, man. They know where to find me if they need me. Pull the plug on this one, man.
All right. Well, we will see you. Thanks you guys so much for watching live and listening. We will see you in 2 weeks. Until next time, y'all be safe.